show Girlfriends will always be in my heart, okay? Even though it hasn't been on the air for years. But now, watching it now as a grown woman, I'm like, okay. I never knew how toxic some of these characters were in this show. Let's talk about desperate ass Joan and toxic Toni from Girlfriends. Y'all, these characters were so problematic and we didn't even notice it. Familiar face. I will be right where you are. Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Before we get into it, I just want to plug in an amazing product, Denver's World Hair Growth Oil, okay? 100% natural, okay? It helps with the breakage. It keeps the hair moisturized, the scalp moisturized. It helps with growth. All natural oils such as coconut oil, fenugreek, chibi powder. Oh my God, the list goes on and on and on. And it smells absolutely amazing. We talk about the show Girlfriends because watching as an adult, I'm like, wait a minute. Y'all got problems. Y'all got problems. Y'all got problems. Anyway, the show Girlfriends had came on, I believe it was 2006 or 2007. So I want to say I was on my last year of high school or just getting out of high school, right? So now I love the show Girlfriends. The show Girlfriends has touched on every topic you could think of, from divorce to marriages to misogyny to sex to STDs to parenting, co-parenting, interracial relationships, fat phobia, homophobia. When I tell you, Girlfriends has taught me a lot. Girlfriends has truly taught me a lot. So did Moesha and a lot of Black sitcoms. So I'm going to give them, they got my respect. They got my vote, okay? They have taught me a lot. I mean, now that I think about it, it's like, where the hell was my parents if the damn shows taught me everything? For example, the character Toni, like back then I used to just be like, oh my God, she's such a gold digger. She only wants men for money, blah, 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 blah. Now being a grown ass woman and realizing I got to pay bills and these men can't just be laying up with you for the poom poom. They got to be coming to the table with something. I'm like, get your coin, sis, okay? So as it pertains to toxic ass Toni and her being a gold digger, listen, get your coins. If a man want to spend money on you and do all of that for you, get your coins, sis. And I think Toni ran so that Molly from Insecure could walk. Okay, walk right into making terrible, toxic ass, bad decisions. To me, both of their characters are like one and the same. Anyway, but I realized how much Toni got on my last damn nerves. Okay, first of all, I felt like she relied so much on Joan. Like, she relied so much on Joan, right? She was very needy, okay? The friendship between her and Joan was definitely one-sided. Back then, I didn't even realize it. I thought they was just friends, blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, the friendship is definitely one-sided. I could not see myself in a friendship like this. Mind you, I think like season 1, season 2, Joan had decided she didn't want to be friends with Toni anymore. And looking at that now that I'm older, I'm like, oh my God, why didn't you just leave that friendship a long time ago? The friendship was definitely one-sided. She was constantly relying on Joan, using Joan, needing Joan, needy. And Joan couldn't get the same energy when Joan needed that type of friendship. It wasn't reciprocated. The friendship was totally toxic and one-sided. She used a lot of people. It wasn't just men. She used a lot of people. She was extremely selfish and self-absorbed. She was a terrible friend. And when stuff really hit the fan, she wasn't really there. There was a few times she would be there, but she wasn't really there. And I couldn't see myself as a grown woman now being in a relationship like that, where a relationship is one-sided. Toxicity, we not doing it. It seems like I just wanted to kick my TV over or just slap Joan in the back of the head like, sis, get it through your head. Just because you've been friends with someone for a long time and you grew up with them does not mean you don't outgrow them. And it's not time for the relationship to be done with. Like, that doesn't mean that you carry the friend with you on for the rest of your life, on every journey with you. That brings me to Desperate Ass Down. Now, being older, I'm like, you was annoying. You was annoying, you was tired, you was aggy, and your hair should have been fell out because you are just too damn controlling, okay? Desperate Joan, it seems like she was never happy. She was never satisfied. She had to control everything, but she was controlling things so much that things were falling apart because she was trying to control it so much. How do you go about life trying to control every single aspect of your life down to what other people do? You are never in control of what other people do. You are only in control of yourself. But she was such a control freak. She would get into these amazing relationships and always find something wrong, something that they were doing wrong, instead of possibly just giving them a chance. I feel like Joan could have been married if she just sat her ass down somewhere, greased her scalp, focused on her career, and stopped trying to control people, stopped trying to be a control freak. Okay, stop focusing on the little things that really don't even matter sometimes in the big picture. Like, granted, she did date some low lives. Don't get me wrong, hippie ass Marcus and the one that was a sex addict and all of that. Those were losers. But I feel like Brock and I feel like some of the other guys were really good guys, and she just continuously ran them off. Like, she just always found something. Like, girl, it's like she never came into herself. It was the awkward black girl. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the awkward black girl, and it totally reminded me of Issa from Insecure. And I'm here for it because I'm the awkward black girl. But I feel like Joan just didn't, I don't know. She just was never happy. It's just like, why are you always finding fault in something and complaining and complaining and complaining? And it's like, when she would meet a guy, it would reek of desperation. Reek of desperation. Like, girl, have some confidence to yourself. Have some confidence with yourself. Now, mind you, I love Tracy Ellis Ross. Don't get me wrong. Don't nobody talk bad about my Tracy, okay? I love Tracy Ellis Ross. I love all of the characters, and I feel like collectively with all of their personalities, the characters in the show, I feel like it balanced out the show. And but just with Joan, I just felt like she was hella desperate. She could have been married with kids, but you know what? I feel like kind of like the way that Girlfriends ended was so unfair. And I feel like they did that to a lot of black sitcoms. They just ended terrible. Like, didn't give them a season finale. And God forbid we should get a reboot. But y'all keep rebooting Stale Ass Friends and Will and Gracia, or whatever the hell their names is. Y'all keep rebooting these shows that we don't even care about instead of giving us what we deserve. Black sitcoms, okay? I'm tired of y'all. Y'all did it to the Wayans brothers. Y'all did it to Girlfriends. Anyway, I could go on and on about that. But let's just talk about even how it like ended. But I'm so glad Tracy Ellis Ross went on to Black-ish. And they actually had a reunion, a Girlfriends reunion on Black-ish, which was amazing. I feel like, okay, Joan was finally able to get her family. She was finally able to get her husband. She was finally able to get whatever she wanted on Black-ish, right? Which really warmed my heart. A part of me also did feel bad for Joan because I'm like, oh my God, you know, like, she has issues. She's crazy and desperate as hell, okay? But I felt like she would meet a guy at the beginning of the episode, and like not even 15 minutes in, she's like sabotaging you, self-sabotaging you. But I also felt bad for her too because I feel like, you know, her friends, all of the girlfriends, even William, I feel like they were extremely needy and they needed Joan, and they were pulling Joan in every direction to where Joan really didn't have enough for herself, and she really didn't get that support that she gave out to the girlfriends. They were not supportive of Joan, and that's what made me feel bad for her character. It's like, when you're everything to everyone and no one is anything to you. It's like, I'm surprised Joan didn't suffer from like anxiety and like depression. Like, I think she did have a panic attack and stuff like that, but I felt like Joan should have been on medication. Me, if I was her, now being older, I'm like, okay, if I was Joan, I would have been on medication, and my circle of friends would have been hella small, because I felt like her relationship with the girlfriends, with the group, her relationship with men, her relationship with herself suffered a great deal because they were so needy, and she felt like, I had to have my girlfriends, I had to be there for my girlfriends. Now, don't get me wrong, I really didn't have a problem with Maya. I think Maya really balanced out the show. Lynn was just a moocher. She was a loser. If she was my friend, I would have been stopped being friends with her. I feel like William on the show too. I know I was just supposed to talk about Joan and Toni, but I feel like William on the show, he was so underrated. Like, he knew his place. He knew not to be sitting in the middle of a conversation when the conversation between the women are getting real heated. He knew how to exit, make a joke, and he knew how to leave. I can't stand a man that sit in a room full of women, and we talking about women issues. We trying to get to the bottom of it's a woman conversation. You sitting your big head ass in the middle of the conversation and just giving your 2 cents in or making it about you. Too much testosterone. You got to leave the room, sir, when women is just talking. Okay? I can't stand it. That's a pet peeve of mine. But he knew how to exit. I felt like he was a little bit underrated too. Like, his comedic timing was on point. He was hilarious. He brought the jokes to the show. I really loved his character. I think he was a little too jokey to the point where he did not take his intimate relationship serious. And he was kind of like the male version of Joan. This is why I felt like they were like soulmates that were never together and probably would never be. Well, they were together. They dated briefly, but they would never be married and actually in a serious long-term committed relationships. Sometimes we don't end up in a relationship with our soulmate, but their souls are still connected. He was the male version of Joan. And I felt like he had intimacy issues too, and issues with women too. And his relationships and not taking women seriously. I think all of the friends on the show, you know. But I always thought he was like the 5th girlfriend, you know. But anyway, that was just my breakdown of girlfriends. I still will love, I still love Girlfriends. I still love Moesha. I still love the Parkers. I still love the Wayans brothers. Fresh Prince, Martin. I love Living Single, especially. I love all these shows. These shows have truly paved the way for a lot of amazing shows like Blackish. I feel like today we don't have enough amazing Black sitcoms like A Different World and Live in Color. We don't have these sitcoms anymore. Like, television is not the same, and I can say that's the one thing that I'm glad that Netflix has done, was bring these sitcoms back. You know, we're rewatching them with a different pair of lenses. Okay, no pun intended for the people that wear glasses, but a different set of lenses now, because we're older. We're able to appreciate them more. We're able to really understand these characters. These shows, these amazing Black sitcoms truly shaped who we are. These shows will never be forgotten, like, at all. Okay, I could still watch these shows today in 2020 and laugh my ass off as if I didn't watch it 20 years ago or over 20 years ago. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Comment below and let me know what you guys think of the characters. I would love to hear from you. DiversWorldHairCare.com. The link is in the bio, and all the amazing links. You can find me on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter. All of that good stuff if you like what you hear. Okay, don't forget to put that bell button on for more notifications. Thank you for watching. Bye.